Hey guys, it's Dunedien here. Today I wanted to talk about a game called The Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. It's a PC game. It's really fun, especially if you like Lovecraftian horror type games or type stories. It is really interesting in that there are actually actors that they have answering the questions and performing the roles. And so you are acting as the therapist for several patients, played by these actors and actresses. And you're asking them questions and trying to figure out both how to help them with their mental illnesses or conditions, and then also which one of them killed Dr. Dekker. It's a really interesting game in that there are points where you are asked for advice from your patients, and sometimes there isn't really a good answer, or it's difficult to decide which answer is the best one to give. I would definitely recommend this if you enjoy being able to interact with characters and see how they react to you within a game. The decisions that you make and how to advise them affect how the story turns out at the end of the game. So those are the things to enjoy about it. Fair warning, there are some trigger warnings in this for people that have dealt with stalking or, rape, anything like that. There are characters that have murdered people. There are characters that have taken inappropriate pictures. So if you've dealt with any of that, and playing a game where that is going to be something that comes up, is going to bother you, then this is not a game for you. You also have to watch out for a game where there's going to be discussion of patient-doctor inappropriate relationships, because that's in there. And also if things where you're dealing with psychological issues is going to affect your mind or is going to disturb you, then this is also not the game for you. So with those content warnings out there, if you enjoy Lovecraftian games and you want to be able to play one in which you are basically looking at people who are developing powers and having encounters with Lovecraftian beings, this is one for you. I will say that some of the gameplay, if you're a completionist, is very frustrating. So I went through and I got every single dialogue option, but in order to do that, you have to be able to hit keywords that you type into a little thing saying that that's the question that you're asking the patient at the top of the screen. And if you don't hit those keywords exactly, then the patient is not going to know what you're asking, and they're not going to be able to respond to you in a way that is helpful or moves the story forward. So you can ask for hints, but those hints have a time limit on how often you can use them, which means that if you are a completionist and you're not good at hitting those keywords, you're going to have to be waiting for several minutes in order to complete people's dialogue trees and dialogue options. So do know that if you're a completionist going into this, this also might not be the game for you because of that. But if you're fine with patiently waiting, or if you are not that big on being a completionist, and as long as you can hit enough to get the information you need to know and move on, then there is also a drop-down menu so that you don't have to type out the questions. You can just drop down and select the ones that interest you. So that does streamline the process of playing the game a lot. The characters are very interesting. I wouldn't say that they're all likable, but they're not all meant to be likable. They're definitely very engaging characters, and you definitely enjoy getting to know them as the story goes on. The ending, it's very difficult to figure out who the murderer is, I think, based off of what happens in the story. I do know that who the murderer is changes based on, again, the answers that you give throughout the game to questions that the patients ask you when they ask you for advice. So that is my review. That is my non-spoiler review of the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. Have you played it? If you did, what did you think about the game? If you haven't, was this helpful to you? Does this encourage you to go buy it? Does this tell you that maybe this game isn't for you? For the price of it on Steam, I would definitely recommend it. It's not too expensive, and it can fill a pretty good amount of time, especially if you go back through and play it again, because, like I said, slightly different things will happen based on the answers that you give. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. Bye.